Welcome, everyone, to the live signing of Johnny the Walrus with the one and only Matt Walsh. Hello, and good evening to you all. We welcome our friends, be they big or small, human or even aquatic mammal. Okay, that was a terrible rhyme. But to be fair, I am not a best-selling children's author. However, I do happen to know someone who is. He is the cardigan-wearing author of the #1 best-selling book, Johnny the Walrus, and host of the Matt Walsh Show on the Daily Wire. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Matt Walsh.
I can't believe they made you do that, first of all. But so thanks for being involved in this. This is like feels like I'm in Dr. Seuss's fever dream or something. This is very strange, but it's also it's a huge honor as well.
Yeah, well, Matt is live tonight, against the wishes of Amazon employees, it seems, working on signing all the copies of the books everyone has been ordering. And as Matt's here for the next hour or so signing and unable to go anywhere, we will be hanging out doing his favorite thing, chit-chatting and asking him questions. So submit your questions in the chat box on dailywire.com. Any Daily Wire member can chime in. Now, if you want to get your hands, oh my gosh, what's happening?
Well, that's a great start.
If you want to get your hands on one of these limited edition autographed Johnny the Walrus books, there is only one way to get one, and that is with a Daily Wire All Access membership. Sign up right now at dailywire.com/Johnny, and you will get an autographed book plus your very own Leftist Tears tumbler, which will come in handy since there are lots of leftist tears flowing right now, many of which were caused by our man of the hour. All righty, here we go. Or you already have one to get started.
So then I just start signing the books, I guess. That's the idea? Okay,
Do you know how
good.
to sign your name?
This is actually embarrassing because I have the handwriting of like an actual 4-year-old. So
this is
now
good.
the
I'm
whole
going
world's going to see it.
to try to clean this up. Okay. Now, Matt, this book has been causing quite a stir recently. It's been #1 on Amazon for 4 days now? 4 days.
It was #1 for 5 days, actually.
Okay.
And now it's gone down the charts a little bit, but it's still, I think, in the top 10, we'll call it.
Nice. Well, that's
And it is still by rights the #1 children's book in America.
Yes.
But it was kicked off the children's book category by Amazon.
Well, by the triggered Amazon employees.
Which is, one of my great dreams in life was obviously to be a children's book author, which we've been able to achieve, and I feel great about that. Which camera? Look at that one. Okay. So I feel great about that. But and then my other great dream is to traumatize, employees of big tech companies. So
Obviously.
we've been able to achieve both of my dreams, and I can basically retire now and call it a day.
You've done both. Those videos, the leaked videos of the Amazon employees, that was fantastic. Was that a man or a woman on the right side?
I have no idea.
It was quite uncomfortable, honestly. It was peak comedy, and they've never seen anybody more triggered by just such a sweet, children's book author.
Yeah, that's the thing. One of my disappointments is that I wrote this children's book, and I thought that now that I'm wearing the cardigan and I'm a children's book author, that it would kind of soften my image and people would like me more. And what I've discovered is that people are actually angry, which I never expected. I thought that this book would just.
This was your rebranding.
I thought this would be critically acclaimed. That's what I thought. So.
Yes. Well.
That's been a disappointment. But other than that, it's been a great experience. And the other thing about the Amazon thing I want to say is that if you saw those videos, they featured in their little cry session a complaint from a customer, and they said the Amazon
Karen.
Right, and the Amazon employee said that this person summarizes the book really well, and then the woman comes on and claims that my book commands children to go out and murder.
I saw that.
People.
Yes.
That's a sort of a gritty, dark reimagining of the Johnny the Walrus story.
Well, that's like if it was turned into like a horror film.
Yeah, well, that's if like Christopher Nolan did the gritty reboot of Johnny the Walrus. But that's not what I have. My book doesn't tell you to kill anybody.
No, obviously. Now, Matt, we have our first question. This is from Johnny. Hi, Matt. Johnny, the Walrus here. Do you plan on writing any more children's books in the future?
Well, certainly. Of course I do. I mean, I am a capitalist pig after all, so of course I'm going to keep writing them. But you know, at the same time, also there's obviously what we've discovered from this book is that there is a real hunger out there in the marketplace for books that are for children's books that are not woke. Because I know as a look at my signature. Do we say? Look how terrible that is.
Can you show
it's
it
not
to
even.
people?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah,
This is what you're getting. Anyway.
No, there is. If you look at the Amazon reviews of the book, there's a lot of people that are saying like, oh, like I'm a grandparent, this is so exciting, like I've been looking for things and the library is just full. There was this, Lives of TikTok posted a video and it was a librarian who was, there were two librarians. One was putting banned books back in the New York Public Library and handing them out for free. And then there was the gal, or they, them, I don't know. She kind of looked like a furry, to be quite honest, my friends. Was saying that she was putting little like pride flags on all the books and that kind of thing to show which one was like LGBT and all that. So there is a need.
We know and that's the thing, as parents, we know that there's really nowhere you can go in the culture anymore except to Daily Wire, if you go on Daily Wire, remember, where you're not going to be exposed to this kind of woke stuff, and even in libraries, especially in libraries. I mean, libraries for the last several years, that's where you can go for the drag queen story hours and all that kind of stuff. And I knew from experience as a parent, you go to the bookstore, go to any major bookstore, go to the children's section, and it looks like the signs at an Antifa rally or something with all of the anti-racist gender ideology and stuff. People are tired of that. So, I mean, this book was the #1 book in the entire country of all books that were sold for a week, okay?
Clearly.
A board book for preschoolers that satirizes gender ideology was the #1 book in the entire country.
Well, it's quite brilliant. We have another question for you. This is from Lillian. She's saying, out of all of the prestigious titles you've won between your release of Johnny the Walrus and What is a Woman, which one is your favorite?
I mean, there are so many that even go before that. I, of course, became a philanthropist with our charitable endeavors for AOC's Abuela.
Yes.
And that, as a philanthropist, that is a title that is very important to me. Theocratic Fascist is another title that I find very important. But especially with What is a Woman, I would say now that my What is a Woman book is charting still as the #1 biology text on Amazon.
That's fantastic.
I would say that I really appreciate being a biologist. And that means that I'm a scientist. Trust the science, folks.
Yep. Your science trademark, like Thatcher says,
exactly.
The science. All right, now, Ashley Phillips is saying, I just found a Catholic group that describes themselves as pro-life Democrats. They believe the Democrats are right on most things, but wrong on abortion. Thoughts?
A pro-life Democrat was what she said, right?
Yeah, Catholic pro-life.
Sorry, they told me I have to sign this and answer questions, but I'm too stupid to do things at once.
You're doing great.
Yeah, it's not possible to be a pro-life Democrat. I mean, the Democrat Party, down to its very core, is it's not just abortion. I mean, their entire platform is structured around their hatred for human life and the dignity of life. So that's just an incompatible position, I think. You have to choose. You're either pro-life or Democrat, and be pro-life.
Straight from the #1 biologist and children's book author in the world. Let's see. Conservative Gal asked, hi, Matt. Do fans ever approach you and your family in public? If so, how do you react? I know you prefer to never talk and never have to make small talk.
They do, and I scream at them, and I throw whatever is closest at hand at them. No, I'm just kidding. They do, and I appreciate it as long as they're nice. And that's the thing. Everybody, look at this. What is that? That's not a signature. That's just that's Chinese or something. I don't know what that is. I do appreciate people. And the thing is, of all the angry messages I get and hate mail and death threats and all that kind of stuff, nobody has ever actually come up to me in public, except on a college campus when there's a whole group of them.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever come up to me individually in public and who hates me and confronted me person to person, because most people are just...
Yeah. Well, you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, but all of my interactions thus far have been the same. It's all very, very positive, and people are usually nice, but I'm waiting for the day that somebody hates me enough.
On a few occasions, I've had somebody message me and say, hey, I just saw you at some place, and I want you to let you know that you're a terrible person.
Oh, God.
Like, oh, tough guy.
Well, if you haven't seen Matt in public, you can become a Daily Wire All Access member, and you can go over, you can subscribe, and if you are an All Access member, you can have the opportunity to ask him questions just like this when he does All Access Lives. It's the only way to have access to us hosts if you are not running into us at farmers markets or something like that. And if you want Matt to answer any of your questions tonight, be sure to go over to our live stream at dailywire.com, click the live banner at the top of the page, and you can flood him with your questions.
What do you think of that?
Him.
I'm doing a thing here with the signature where the M turns into the W.
That's
artistic.
That? Are you going to start doing art now?
Well, I just decided just now on the spot to make that my new signature. So that's exciting.
This is actually just a creative project for you.
You just saw the origin story of my new signature live on the air.
All right, let's see. How can I be more like Matt Walsh? This question is, let's see. The greatest man to ever walk the earth and grace us with such wonderful works of literature.
I had to throw at least one in there that I wrote myself, and that obviously is the one. Don't set higher goals for yourself than to be like me. There's just, you gotta aim higher in life.
Look at your setup that you have here.
True.
Are you kidding me?
True.
It's impressive. Let's see. This is from Very Stable Genius is the username. My daughters want to know how Johnny's whiskers go away. I told them he stopped eating worms. Can I get sweet Daddy Walsh's confirmation from this or on this?
Yes, and that is a debate. Within the Johnny the Walrus extended universe, there's a lot of debate about kind of the mythology of Johnny the Walrus. And because he goes to the doctor and he gets the wormone pills because we're being very subtle with our allegory here. But he stops taking the pills and then he kind of goes back. Although if the allegory was completely correct, then he'd stop taking the pills and he would not go back to normal because
irreversible damage.
Right, exactly.
All right, now Brandon is asking, out of all of the animals there are, why did you choose a walrus as the metaphor? We're getting deep here.
And that question was almost certainly submitted by my wife because she wants to make sure that I make very clear that it was actually her idea. The walrus thing was her idea. This was a collaborative effort in a lot of ways. So my wife, the genesis of Johnny the Walrus is my wife suggested to me like a year ago that I should write a children's book. And she said, because she pointed out that if I wrote a children's book, it'd make a lot of people very upset just by the simple fact that I wrote it. And I said, well, I love that idea. And so we went back and forth about the idea. And I kind of had the general concept of Johnny the Walrus. And I said to her, but I need an animal that the kid pretends to be, and I need a name. And just right there on the spot, she says Johnny the Walrus. And it was just a moment it was collaborative genius. It was a moment where we both knew that was
It's the perfect marriage, honestly. All right, now we have 6 new members that have joined while we've been doing this live. This is impressive. Let's say hello to Jacqueline from Mangum. Am I saying that? Mangum, Oklahoma. Dory from Bozeman, Montana. And Richard from Port Allen, Louisiana. And Matt, do you have anything you want to say to them?
No. Oh, wait, I do. I just want to take a moment to say thank you, my sweet, sweet babies, and that you're special. I'm so happy to have you as members of my cult. Your soul is mine.
I wore a Sweet Baby Gang shirt the other day in a video, and I had a lot of your cult members come in, and they were like, oh my gosh, it's a crossover. It's very intense.
The cult is growing.
Lightning speed.
I told a story on my show yesterday. I was at my kid's first communion over the weekend, and somebody shouted the Sweet Baby Gang at my kid's first communion. So I thought it was great. My wife was a little bit more iffy on the whole thing, but
really making waves.
Yeah, that's and here's my thing of the Sweet Baby Gang. I don't think that there is an inappropriate time to shout out Sweet Baby Gang.
Yep.
I could be at a funeral, and I think that's perfectly appropriate.
Well, it's a very malleable phrase. You can use it anywhere. Now, Amanda, the real deal, says, Dear Sweet Daddy, will you be collaborating with the director of Tusk for the live-action movie adaptation of Johnny the Walrus?
First of all, I found out about Tusk after I wrote this book, and everyone said, "Oh, you were inspired by Tusk," and I said, "What are you talking about, Tusk?" And then I looked up what this movie is, and it's like, okay. Then I was horribly disturbed because I saw the images online. I would not recommend looking it up. Apparently, if you actually try to literally become a walrus, it gets pretty grim pretty fast. So, who is the director of that? Do we know?
No, I don't know. Does somebody here know?
Kevin Smith is the director. So no, because he's like a far left lunatic. Maybe I'll start saying I wasn't. I'm going to start saying I was inspired by Tusk just because it would probably annoy him.
You should start tweeting at him.
Yeah.
You can say, why aren't we going to collaborate? I'm sure that would trigger him.
Kevin Smith, thank you so much for inspiring this book. I couldn't have done it without you.
You're going to give him nightmares. Okay, now Kelly says, hey, Matt, just wondering, are there going to be differences in the book and the documentary of What is a Woman? Are there going to be differences or more in-depth discussions in one or the other? Sweet baby gang for life.
I think there are differences. You get a certainly different experience from both. There's still so much to be said about the film in particular that I still can't say, but I'll have much more to say about it soon. But I will say there are aspects of the story that we can't really get into depth on until we get to the book, but then there are also aspects that you can't fully appreciate. There are a lot of aspects of the story that you can't fully appreciate unless you see the movie and you see the visuals. There are a lot of visuals here that you just have to see. Some of which you'll wish you had not seen, but you're going to see them.
Let's see. Well, everyone who is watching, you can get yourself one of Matt's autographed Johnny the Walrus books and a Leftist Tears tumbler by becoming a Daily Wire All Access member. Sign up for a Daily Wire All Access membership at dailywire.com/Johnny. And if you are already an All Access member, 1, thank you. And 2, you also have exclusive access to get a signed copy of Johnny the Walrus. Just head over to the Daily Wire store at dailywire.com and click shop at the top of the page. Again, All Access members are the only ones who can get the signed limited edition copy of Johnny the Walrus. So if you are already a member, head on over and place your order now. Because you're flying through these like hotcakes. I mean, look at that signature. You want one of these. Look at that. Wow.
You know what I'm going to do?
That's good.
I'm going to add a little smiley face to that one.
Oh.
I've never done that before. That's another first.
Someone's going to be honored.
So it'll never happen again. We won't speak of it. Okay.
Alrighty, now we have a nice message from someone here. Hey, Matt. As a world-renowned children's author, biologist, and the foremost theocratic fascist in American history, when are you throwing your hat in the race? 2024?
I would rather be set on fire and then drowned.
That's what I always say.
Instead of running for office. Like I'd literally rather be dead than run for office. So that will just simply never happen at all, ever.
Yep.
And how dare you even ask me? You're banned from this book signing. Get out.
You're banned from the Sweet Baby Gang?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Steven has a question. Why do we not see or hear about Johnny's dad in the book? I assume it is because Johnny's dad was at work to provide for his family. Thanks, Matt.
No, not at all. That's not the reason. In fact, it's a very pointed absence not having Johnny the Walrus's dad in the picture, because you're going to find so often with kids who are led into these delusions that the father is either physically absent, or he might be physically present, but he's, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually absent. So the fact that the father is an absence in this tale is quite intentional. And also the fact that so much of the story really, we call it Johnny the Walrus, but so much of the story is really about the mom. Because, again, when you have a child in this situation in real life, it's really the parents very often who are leading the charge there.
I saw a TikTok earlier of this woman who was yelling about her child's pediatrician. It was her 9-year-old. And the pediatrician said this 9-year-old is not old enough to know herself and know that she wants to transition. So no, I'm not going to prescribe her any hormone therapy or even sign a letter to get her name changed. And the mother was basically having a meltdown, saying my child wants this. It was just, you see that, and it's these mental delusions. It's criminal.
I saw that clip, and that's that mother managed to find, and she was upset about finding it, but she managed to find one of the only good pediatricians left in America.
Shocking.
She was upset about it, but that's, of course, exactly what any doctor should say, because kids, my oldest kids are 8 years old, almost 9.
Mm-hmm.
And even at that age, they just have no clue about the world, about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They can't make any decisions at all. So the idea that they could be able to choose their own gender is totally ridiculous.
Yep.
Like an example I give all the time, just a simple example, is, if you take your kid to the restaurant and the waiter comes out, and then you say to your kid this, and I always feel bad for waiters when parents do this, because the waiter's standing there, and then you say to the kid, well, what would you like to have? Mm-hmm. And then they're going to sit there for 45 minutes going through everything on the menu before they settle on something, and then you get that for them, and then you bring it out, and they don't want to eat it because they actually wanted something else. So it's just, kids can't decide anything. They can't make any choices.
Well, at 9 years old, I said this on my show earlier, I think I was running around wearing Harry Potter cloaks, and I thought that I was a wizard. I am one, actually.
At 9 or recently?
At 9.
Okay.
Oh, no, this was last week, actually.
Okay.
I was out in Franklin, and I was, running around casting spells. No. All right, we have this is not a question. This is just a nice message from Laura. She says, hi, Matt. I keep thinking I'm going to send you an email about all of the things I agree with you on, but you'd be reading a 10-plus page email. No one has time for that. I did want to tell you, though, that today is my birthday. I got the best gift of all, a copy of Johnny the Walrus. My husband bought me a copy because I kept talking about it, and he surprised me with it this morning. He also bought me the cleaning supplies that you talked about for Valentine's Day. Thank you. They work really well, and I use them all the time. Thanks so much for your podcast. It's awesome, and I really enjoy listening to it every day. That was really nice.
Well, ma'am, you are married to a great man, is all I could say. And I don't usually do this because I'm against birthdays, but I will. I'll make an exception because I'm in the children's author uniform, and I'm feeling more generous, and I will say, happy birthday.
Man, I thought you were about to sing, and I was going to be really uncomfortable.
No, that's not good.
It's going to be like, this is an odd character development here.
I've been told that my singing voice sounds a little bit like a dying moose, and I've never heard a moose die, but I assume that's not a compliment. So
that could be your next children's book. The moose?
The dying moose? Go a little bit of a darker direction.
Well, they're already saying that you have a dark children's book. You can just lean into it.
True.
Let's see. Andrea says, how long did it take you to write Johnny the Walrus? What was the writing process like?
It took many, many, many seconds of effort to write.
It's a very thick book.
I mean, yeah, it's, look at the thickness of that book. I mean, of course, there's only like 2 words per page, but still.
Let's see. Okay. We have, this is another question from NRA Certified Lover Boy.
I'm sorry, what now? Who's it from?
His username is NRA Certified Lover Boy.
NRA Certified Lover Boy. So that username takes all kinds of weird turns.
I kind of like it.
Ends with me being confused. So.
I like the chaos. Well, it's good. You're using Matt Walsh. All right. If you had to come up with an alias like Dr. Seuss, what would it be? That's a good one.
Well, I wouldn't, because I want all the credit for the book that I wrote. I don't know why people would do that. I thought, Mark Twain, Dr. Seuss. I mean, I want the credit personally, so why would I ever do something like that?
Okay. All right, so we have 3 new members. This is from that group earlier. So we have Victoria from Grand Prairie, Texas. Christopher from Westerfield, Ohio, and Christian from Michigan. Love it.
Are those the same ones?
No, these are new ones.
Okay.
So do you want to welcome them to the Sweet Baby Gang and to the Daily Wire All Access world?
We're doing the same. Okay. Well, look. If I could say one thing to you, and one thing only, I would say you're one of a kind. And I'm so happy, and I'm so proud of you. And I'm so glad that you're all a part of my Sweet Baby Gang.
I feel like that should be like a ringtone or something. Like people can call into that.
Do people do ringtones anymore? Because if they
not a ringtone, but a voicemail. Like if we set up like a hotline where people could call and just hear that message from the soothing voice of a #1 best-selling children's author.
Let's just move on with our lives and pretend none of this is happening.
There we go. All right, this one is from Kent Pittsburgh. He says, are you planning a Johnny trilogy and creating a Johnny universe and a Johnny multiverse? This guy has big dreams for you.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the big question right now in the creative development department where we're sitting down. I'm sitting down with the creative team for hours a day, and we're talking about this. And
so you and your wife?
Yeah, exactly. And so the question is, do you continue the story of Johnny, or has the Johnny story been told? Is there more to say about Johnny? Mm-hmm. Or do you extend it into the Johnny the Walrus universe, but you let Johnny be, with his happily ever after sort of ending? And I don't know. We're still working that out.
Big dreams.
It's an intense creative process.
Are you like Johnny the Walrus? Like, do you have a big imagination and lots of questions? I didn't even realize that this was. I thought I was asking you a question. Well, are you like?
Who's asking this question? You're asking or something?
I'm about to ask it, but I wanted to ask you. I was going to ask them, but I wanted to ask you. Do you find yourself like Johnny?
Yeah, this was basically an autobiography, this book.
But
This is a true story.
But isn't the illustration...
My parents tried to abandon me at a zoo. Is that
a true story?
That's the only true part. Well,
I think that this is you, right?
That's me, and so that's how we've kind of done it. I'm just kidding, by the way. My parents did not abandon me at a zoo. My mom is watching this, so I'm going to get a call later.
Alrighty. Now, if you are like Johnny and you have a big imagination and lots of questions for Matt, we want to hear them. So type your questions into the Daily Wire chat box at dailywire.com, and we will hit Matt with them. He is still sitting here. He is not allowed to leave. He has to continue chit-chatting with me. Brianna has a question for you.
How much longer is it? Okay.
Matt loves me. He loves hanging out with me all the time. Hi, Matt. My husband and I are pregnant with our first baby. We are starting prep work and thinking about homeschooling. I know you are a big advocate, but we really don't know how it works and would love to know what you and your wife do to homeschool your children.
The thing that I do for homeschooling is just that my wife does it, and I'm really like moral support. So I'm there to say, hey, atta girl, doing a great job. No, I mean, she does do most of the homeschooling because I'm at work most of the day. So, but it's what I'll say is that homeschooling is I think that sometimes people in the homeschooling community can underemphasize the difficulties of it. Like it is really hard to do, but that's just the case with parenting in general. I mean, parenting is a difficult thing, but it's incredibly rewarding. And I think that once you'll hear from most homeschooling parents that once they started kind of homeschooling, they realized that although it's hard, it's not as hard as they thought it would be. And it's also really rewarding. And you know what? It's actually nice to have your kids around for the day, if you can believe it. You might actually start enjoying your kids' company.
I was homeschooled for my entire life.
And look how you turned out.
Here you go. I know.
Did you turn out well or what?
I think I did.
Okay.
I'm sitting here with you.
True. Good point.
Book, so this is the dream. But no, that's true about people underestimating how hard it is. I think a lot of people also forget that, and that's where kind of like the stigma about like the social interactions and that kind of thing, but you are taking on their social development as well as academic, which is a whole other ballgame. Well,
what you're doing is you're taking on the job of being a parent full time, rather than pawning it off to the school system, which it is easier in the short term to pawn that off to the school system, but I don't think it works best for your kids, especially these days.
All right, now Lindsay is asking, how did you propose to your wife? How long did it take for you to know that you wanted to marry her? This is a sweet one.
I knew that I wanted to marry her. I mean, honestly, I would say like about 6 minutes, probably. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but I proposed after 6 months. Mm-hmm. And I think kind of like people have this idea these days that, first of all, I'm so hot in this sweater. I don't know if it's obvious. Look at me. Look how much I'm sweating. It's disgusting.
I'm feeling it.
People think these days that, you have to be with someone for like 5 years before you know if they're marriage material. But I think once you realize that you have the deepest things in common, you have the same basic values and priorities in life, you want the same thing out of life, you're both taking the relationship seriously, and all of that, then I think it's, you can move on to the next stage, which is engagement.
Mm-hmm. And how did you propose to her?
I did. It's pretty cliche, but I did propose on a beach. So
Nice.
that was my.
You're romantic.
That was my one attempt.
Alrighty, now we have another question. They say, we love the book. Question, I skip the word bigot because I don't want my 3-year-old running around saying bigot all the time. Thoughts? Did you have hesitance before putting that in the book? P.S. My son loves the book, and so do we.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't want to put anything. We didn't want to put any words or concepts in the book that we wouldn't want a kid to be introduced to, which is why, in spite of what the Amazonians claim, it actually does not say the word transgender in the book at all. But I think it's just a judgment call. I mean, a word like bigot, it's not a curse word. It's a word that unfortunately people encounter, that even your kids are going to encounter at pretty young ages. And I actually think it's a good thing for kids they hear the word bigot, and to them, they hear it first in this book, and so to them, so they see it in this sort of like silly context. It's a silly word, doesn't really mean anything. And that's the truth, because that's actually the way the word bigot is used these days as emotional blackmail. It basically doesn't mean anything anymore. So I think it's not a bad thing for them to have that kind of framework for the word.
Let's see. Oh, we have another question. What is your favorite children's book besides Johnny the Walrus, of course?
I am a Dr. Seuss guy from way back in the day, even before he was canceled. I liked Dr. Seuss before it was cool. So I'm a big in Cat in the Hat. Fox and Socks is my jam. Hop on Pop, even though it promotes elder abuse, arguably. All those books.
Did you ever read The Giving Tree? I always hated that book. That was probably the children's book that I despised the most.
I did read it, and I found it to be incredibly weird and sad and disturbing.
Yeah.
Kind of like Johnny the Walrus. Just kidding.
There you go. No, it's not. I think that was the one that my mom didn't even let me keep in the house after a while, just because I think it disturbed her as well. All right, we have another question. Would there be a Johnny the Walrus animated show on Daily Wire Kids? It's a good question.
I would love it, but you got to talk to the God King. You got to talk. I mean, this is not my call. So put the pressure on him to make it happen.
Start tweeting at Jeremy Boring.
Yeah.
So if you are just joining us, we are here live with best-selling LGBT children's author Matt Walsh as he autographs copies of his #1 book, Johnny the Walrus, which is only available to Daily Wire All Access members. So if you are not already a member and you want to be one, go to dailywire.com/Johnny and you will get a signed Johnny the Walrus book plus a Leftist Tears tumbler for free when you join. It's a great deal. You are missing out if you are not an All Access member. See, this is getting hard. I feel like I need to sit on the floor and hand me these now.
Yeah, I'm obviously working up a sweat by signing these books, and also by having. I said before we went on the air that it's really hot in here, and I'm dressed for 40-degree temperatures. And then look at, oh my gosh, this is just terrible.
Well, I feel like as a children's author, and you're kind of having that whole character. I feel like men, I see an old children's author, and he's a sweet little old man who always kind of runs cold and has a chill.
So you see an old sweaty man when you're looking at me. Is what I want to think. Okay.
No. I mean, you need.
Thanks. I'll take it.
You need to be pretending like you have a chill, like you're just always kind of.
Oh, I don't have a chill at all. I'm dying of heat exhaustion right now.
Okay, we're going to distract you from that because Justin has a question for you. What do you think the most important subjects are that should be taught to students in K through 12?
Hydration is really important, so don't pass out when you're wearing a cardigan when it's 80 degrees inside.
Drink out of your...
Oh yeah, I do have water, don't I? Good point. Most important subjects in school. I think the subjects that they allegedly actually teach, the core subjects, are all really important. The problem is you actually have to teach them. Teach. Oh, there's the AC
look
on.
at that.
You know what? I know it distracts from the audio a little bit, but then visually you're saved from what you're seeing right now, which is the good part by having the air on. So teach history. I think that's one of the most important and most neglected subjects in school right now. Kids have no understanding of their own history, where their country came from, or anything like that. So I think that's probably the most important subject.
That was a good one. You did a little twist in there. Like a
the
wrist. Look at that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. Adding a little one in there. Let's see. We have, what advice do you have for my wife, who is a preschool teacher and terrified of reading this book in her class?
I would say just do it and deal with the consequences when it comes. That's my thing. I think, look, in every school in America, they've got the opposite of this book. And so there's no reason. Like, you have a pretty good argument. If you read the book and you get in trouble and the administration is coming after you, you have a pretty rock solid argument. And also, what it really is, the book is actually a book, what I'm trying to tell people, what I've been saying is it's actually a book about self-acceptance. It's about teaching kids to accept who they actually are, who they really are, authentically. And when I was a kid, every book, the core message of every children's book was self-acceptance. And, way back in the dark old days of the 90s. And that's what this book is. Like, accept who you really are. Don't try to reach for some delusional version of yourself.
Mm-hmm. I think that brings us to our next question. This person has a deep question. What is a walrus?
A walrus is an adult human. Oh, no, that's the other one. The definition of, a walrus is really, a walrus is anyone who identifies as a walrus. I go, anyone who identifies as a walrus is a walrus.
What would walrus pronouns be?
We have that in the book, actually, I think. That's somewhere in there. That's an Easter egg, you can find it. Walrux is one of the pronouns.
It's on one of the posters, isn't it?
We do have the official walrus pronouns in here.
I'm missing it.
He, him, walrux.
Walrux.
Yeah, those are the pronouns.
I should put that in my bio. Walrux. Maybe I'll become one. We have new members, more new members. Thank you all for signing up during this. It means we're doing a good job, I think. Let's see, Luke from San Diego, Crystal from Washington, and Melissa from New River, Arizona. Are you going to welcome them?
Oh. In these stressful times, the best thing you could do is take a breath and listen. Specifically, listen to me. And rest assured, once you open your heart and your ears to me, you will find answers. What the hell am I reading? Who wrote? What? I get, because I'm a cult leader? Is that what that's supposed to be?
Well, it's for your podcast,
All right.
They listen to you every morning and they become enlightened.
I guess it is. I do advertise myself as a cult leader, so I got to start leaning into that.
You can wear the robes, too.
That's the next stage.
Got it. Moving on from cardigan. Well, this is too hot. You got to move into something a little more.
That would certainly be a lot more appropriate for the temperature.
Let's see. Okay, we have another one. What would you rather be forced to do? Use a microwave or leave your shopping cart in the middle of a parking lot?
Rather be forced to do? Well, I would use the microwave. I mean, for me, the shopping cart issue is at the core of my moral identity. My anti-microwave stance is not quite that deep-seated. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's just microwaves, I think, are unnecessary. You don't really need them. Whatever your microwave does, you have other appliances in your kitchen that do the same thing and probably do it better.
How do you feel
about... And it probably causes cancer. I have no information for that whatsoever, but I just assume that it does.
How do you feel about the microwave that we have in the break room? It does like multiple functions. It's not just a microwave, which shocked me. It's weird.
I don't use it. That's the thing. I think microwaves make the food always taste worse, and that's the other thing. So, and that's the other point about microwaves that's really important is that, since this is what we're talking about now, if you're using a microwave to heat up like leftovers, you're almost always better off just eating them cold to begin with. So, which is how most leftovers should be consumed. That's my stance on that.
That's a hot take. Shoot a TED Talk on that.
It's true.
Your next book? Let's see. This one is from Totally Not an Alien. Have you been in touch with aliens? If not, would you like to? Do you think the government is cooperating with me, I mean them, already? Totally not an alien.
I have not. I very much would like to be in touch with aliens. I have made clear to the aliens that, I'm on their side and I fully welcome them to take over, enslave us, incinerate us, whatever they feel like they need to do. Although I did just read, and I only read the headline like a good American because that's all I do, but I read the New York Post article that NASA scientists are sending nude images of people into space to try to entice aliens. I'm not making that up. That was the headline anyway.
Did you see?
I don't know. I don't know anything else. All I know is that they're sending nude images. We are sending unsolicited nudes to alien civilizations. We are sexually harassing ET.
We're talking about this as you're signing your children's book.
Well, that's what we're doing. I didn't decide to do that. NASA's doing that. This is why we need to. Elon Musk needs to buy NASA because we're going to become, sex slaves of aliens or something.
It is horrifying. Did you watch Demi Lovato's show?
Story.
Where what alien self goes and sings?
Oh, yeah. She said that she made contact with it. I actually believe that. I mean, I believe that there's been some extraterrestrial influence over Demi Lovato.
She did an interview, I think it was with Drew Barrymore. Or no, actually, it was some Entertainment Tonight person. And the Entertainment Tonight person was like, would you ever date an ET? And she so confidently was like, yes, I hate humans. Like, I need to date an ET. It might be the only people that she could get along with at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Demi Lovato, I don't know if she was ever normal, but I feel like her transition from normal to lunatic has been quite dramatic and quite sudden, although I don't know.
Maybe she's the one putting together this little cooperation with NASA.
Sending the nudes to the aliens?
Yeah, it could be her.
That's a good theory.
Let's see. As you can see yourself, Matt is doing a masterful job. I mean, look at you. Wow, that one was good. You didn't connect it there.
I kind of screwed that one up.
Okay. Well, he was doing a masterful job autographing these copies of Johnny the Walrus. And if you want one, all you got to do is become an all-access member. So you can go to dailywire.com/Johnny, and one of these signed books could be yours. Can you guys see right there? It says it's going to the mailbox. We are literally, when we're finished, these are going to go straight in the mail.
We're going to have to repack this box a little bit, but
you're gonna take them
box.
To UPS right after this,
I'm such a mess. Yeah, I guess.
Right? It's gonna be great.
I'm an absolute mess over here.
So if you are already an All Access member, do not worry. You also have exclusive access to a signed copy of Johnny the Walrus at dailywire.com. Click shop at the top of the page. You can find this book, get your signed copy. So if you're already a member, do not worry. You are still included. Let's see. All right, Nick Baker has another question. Will the Daily Wire be producing an official Johnny the Walrus Halloween costume? That's fun.
I hope so. I will demand it now. That's the thing. I have no idea about what the Daily Wire is going to do because I'm not in on any of those conversations at all. But I'll push for that because I love that idea.
That's good. I'll be Johnny the Walrus for Halloween. The entire office can be.
Yeah.
It's like a fever dream for you.
Yeah. This whole thing's a fever dream. This right here is. I mean, it all is.
Let's see. All right. If everyone in the Daily Wire turned into an animal, which animal do you think they would be and why? You can just do the list.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know. What do you think? I'll let you answer that.
Oh.
I'm going to pawn that off to you.
Would you be a walrus? That's a difficult question.
I have no opinion about what animal I would be.
I've been told,
a bird? I don't know. I could fly.
I hate birds.
You hate birds?
They scare me. I have like a genuine fear of birds. I've been attacked by a seagull one too many times.
One too many times? How many times have you been attacked by a seagull?
Like 4. I lived in LA. They're horrifying.
Is that what happens in LA?
Yes.
I don't think you have to worry about seagulls when you're walking down.
No, like in Santa Monica. They're terrifying. And then we had a flock of ducks when I was growing up because we lived on
Is seagull a euphemism for like crackhead or something?
Okay, well, I'm also afraid of those, but then you can go to the beach and you have seagulls. So I would not be a bird. I've been told before that I have the essence of like a prairie dog or something like that. Or like, like when you go to the zoo and it's like the little dogs that like pop out of the holes or whatever.
Maybe that would be a prairie dog.
I don't know. That's what I've been told.
You want to be a small rodent who lives in the dirt.
It's better than a bird.
Well, you can fly in there when you're a bird. That's the whole point.
You know what? It's fine. I would, okay.
You could be any animal in the animal kingdom, but you'd be a prairie dog.
I've just been told that. I wouldn't choose it for myself.
Where if you come out of your hole, you get eaten by an owl. You're afraid of birds, you want to be a prairie dog.
I would be a koala. I would be a koala. I'm choosing that.
Hey, what?
A koala.
Oh, okay. So pick the most useless animal on the face of the earth.
Listen, everybody likes koalas.
Only slightly less useless than the panda, but people know my feelings about pandas.
Yeah, well, I won't be a panda.
Did we sign them all?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, wow.
We have to keep chit-chatting, though. You're not allowed to leave yet. So we're gonna actually go through this. All right, so what? So you would be some kind of bird?
You know what? Hold on a second. Because I've already signed all the books, and I'm feeling very generous. So we got these two things here. Am I still on camera, or am I just? Yeah, I am on camera. Okay.
Okay.
So my thought is, why don't I sign Johnny and the Walrus, and then here we go.
Nice.
And then I'll give these two away to one of our new members. One of our new All Access members will get this giant walrus signed by me in the mail. And you can flip that on Amazon, sell it for
eBay.
$5 at least. eBay, yeah.
How are you going to mail that?
How are we going to mail it? I have no idea.
How are you going to?
That's a problem
deliver
someone
it.
else is going to have to solve. Yeah, handle it. Yeah, maybe that's it.
That's good. You know,
I will
it's personalized.
personally bring this to your house. That part's
That's
not
not weird at all. At all. I was going to make us continue the animal question, but I think that we got down a bad rabbit hole. I don't know.
Prairie dog hole is what we went down, and it was very strange.
Listen, the prairie dog holes. Okay.
I just don't understand. Okay, we can move on. But you're afraid of birds, and so you want to be
I don't want to
afraid
be
of a
one.
bird.
I don't want to be one. I've just been told before. We're going to move on because now I'm feeling
Attack?
I'm triggered.
Just like the Amazon. So
I'm gonna-
now you know how the Amazon employees felt.
I know. I'm going to tweet about this later. How many cardigans do you have now?
I have a growing collection, but I have to keep them all here because my wife has promised to burn them if she ever gets a hold of them, because she does not like this whole children's author. She likes the children's author thing, but not the look. She's not into the look, which just makes me like it even more because it annoys her, and I find that very, very funny.
So you should just buy a lot of them. You get a bundle. Maybe we should start selling Matt Walsh sweaters. Make that a new merch item.
I think I
Good.
should sell them and not wear them so that I'm not a disgust. Well, it looks a little better. See, once you put the air on, it's not quite so bad.
It's great. All right, since we finished signing all of the books, we just wanted to give you guys an update. We are here with Matt Walsh, who is the best-selling LGBT children's author and the man that Daily Wire co-CEO and God King, lowercase g, lowercase k, Jeremy Boring, called a national treasure. If you have a question you'd like him to answer, join us on our live stream at dailywire.com. You can click the banner at the top of the home page and type your question into the Daily Wire chat. We already finished handing him all the books. He has signed all of them. They are in the box, ready to be mailed to you literally right after we finish this stream. So since we're finished with that, we're just going to answer your questions. So make sure that you submit them ASAP. So moving on, Matt, did you finally burn that horrid polka dot shirt, or is the dog sleeping on it now?
I can only assume that you ask that because you want me to wear the shirt again, because you know that I only started wearing the shirt because I wore it once, and then my own audience made fun of me for it, and so then I started wearing it more just to spite them, because that's the level of maturity that I have. And so now I feel like I got to start wearing it again just because of that comment. I still have it, and I can pull it out anytime.
It's like a threat.
So watch your mouth.
All right, this is from Truth Seeker. Why should I buy Johnny the Walrus?
Because it would make me very happy if you did. That's my whole pitch.
That's nice. Well, it was
And it's
something
look,
about
it
capitalism.
is literally the literary sensation of 2022 so far, which might say a lot more about the other books that have come out in 2022, but that's what it is. So don't you want to see what all the buzz is about?
That's the real reason. Like, why don't you have it already? All right, so Paul the Walrus, oh, this is good, you're starting a whole thing. Paul the Walrus says, what is your alias on the Sweet Baby Gang Facebook group?
I do not have, I am not part of this. I've been accused of this many times. Apparently, there is a Sweet Baby Gang Facebook group, apparently multiple ones. And that is, even though I'm the cult leader, I believe in giving the Sweet Babies a little bit of privacy, you know, to have their own conversations, as long as it's only nice things about me.
Of course.
So, I'm not on the group, as far as you know.
It's disappointing to all of your fans. Let's see, were your kids a test audience for Johnny the Walrus? That's a good one.
They were, and the honest truth is that my kids actually love the book, and my 2-year-old especially loves this book, and she has it basically memorized, and she's constantly telling me about the book. She doesn't quite understand that I wrote it, but she does know that she knows that I'm in it. She doesn't understand how Daddy became the zookeeper, but yeah, she loves the book. So, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, it does. Let's see, Grace Elizabeth Hannah She says, just bought the book for my mom, who's a biologist as well, for Mother's Day. Any advice on how we can get her to read it in her high school science class?
To read Johnny the Walrus in the high school science class?
Yes.
I mean, you got to present the argument to her, which is that this is better scientific information than most high school science students are getting. So, you know, in a perfect world, this would not be appropriate for high school students because it's for preschoolers. But we're not in a perfect
this day
world.
and age.
Yeah.
Basic preschool biology might be all that high schoolers can handle. All right.
I mean, I go to college campuses and I give speeches explaining the basic anatomy of men and women on college campuses, and of course I get protested for it. So that's where we are right now. So you got to start with the basics with preschool level.
Understandable. That's just too much scientific depth for anybody to really understand other than you, who's a world-renowned biologist. All right, now Shanna has a question from her husband, who claims that he is the captain of Sweet Baby Gang. He says, I'm a troll husband, much like you, Mr. Walsh. Trolling my wife gives me joy, as it does to you. However, my wife always responds by saying, I'm the girl, you're not allowed to troll me, only I control you. I have no response to this. She wins every time. What is your guidance, oh sweet daddy?
Well, who says that girl? Where is this rule written in the Book of Life that girls are not allowed to be trolled? I believe that trolling is one of the deepest and most important things that keeps a marriage together. You know, it's you don't really put it in your marriage vows, but you have to. I think it keeps your marriage fresh when you're constantly trying to annoy each other. I mean, maybe don't take this marriage advice all the way to the bank, but that's at least the way that we operate in my marriage. And we're happily married 11 years now, so it's worked out.
Maybe you could write a marriage advice book next.
Yeah, how to annoy the hell out of your spouse constantly.
It'd be good. Let's see. Oh, we have new members. Okay. Margaret from, how do I pronounce this? Bolivar.
Bolivar.
Oh, we're getting spicy.
That's probably
well, okay. Well, Margaret from Bolivar, Ohio, Sean from Wisconsin, and Cody from Arkansas. Matt Walsh has a special message for you.
I just want you to know that I'm so proud of you. You may not have been the first new member or the second or the third for that matter, but you're here. You made it. And for that, I couldn't be prouder of you. From the heart. Totally sincere.
I can't keep a straight face from this. Let's see. Okay, back to our questions. This member is asking you, are the bans from the show for life, can they be appealed?
There's no appeal process.
Got it.
And they're totally for life. And if you come back, then you'll just be banned again in perpetuity until it sticks.
It's a good rule. Consistency is key. Nanny M says, Matt, my 12-year-old boy is a huge fan and often asks to listen to you. I screen some of your commentary and share it with him on occasion. He loves the fact that your family also homeschools like we do. He said the other day how awesome it would be to meet you someday, and I told him that the best thing to do then would be to not talk to you, that you'd prefer to be ignored than put in the spotlight. So if we ever run into you, what would you like us to do so that I can be prepared? That's nice.
You may approach, eyes down to the floor, and you can have one compliment, which you say to me, and then you turn around and leave. And that's the process. Actually, every single person that comes up to me, the first thing they do is apologize for coming up to me. And so I'm starting to think, do I give off vibes as like, I think I'm a really approachable, nice guy, but every person that comes up is like, I'm so sorry, I know you hate talking to people. Sometimes it's, I'm so sorry, I know you hate people, but I think that's unfair. I mean, look at me, I'm in a cardigan.
He's the sweetest man you've ever met. He's so approachable. I should start doing that with you when I see you in the office. I'm just going to keep my eyes to the ground.
Eyes down, compliment.
Only compliments.
Move off.
Yep. Move out of your way. All right. Oh, this is Cody. I think Cody was from Wisconsin, maybe. All right, but he is saying, signed up for an all-access and purchased a second signed copy. Can I get a shout-out for my son who loves you, Abel? He said he loves you and your book.
Shout out to Abel.
was good.
Is that how you do a shout out, right? I mean,
do you want to give him like a message of affirmation? One of your classic.
You are so affirmed. So.
That was good. I'm proud of you. All right. We have more new members. Kevin from Texas, Joseph from Indiana, and Danielle from California. So now you need to affirm them as well.
You know, it's a beautiful day at the Daily Wire, and I'm so glad you could join me today on this beautiful day. It's getting lazier as we go on.
Oh my goodness, what is happening here? I like that you keep saying a beautiful day as you're sweating profusely. Oh, all right, here we go. There you go. Go drinking your water now. Hydration.
Stay hydrated.
Oh, we have more. Adam from Tennessee, Carl from California.
These are new members?
Yes, so why don't you go ahead?
I'm so glad you're with us today. I just want to take a moment to sort of take it all in and enjoy this time I have with you. Couple second beat with closed eyes and a smile, open eyes and exhale. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. Wait, what am I supposed to do? Scroll down a little bit. Closed eyes and a smile. What?
Take a deep breath. We need to enjoy their presence, like a moment of silence.
This is too far. You want to get the smile, you can get that. Closed eyes and a smile, I can't do that. That's a step too far. Anyway, thank you for enjoying this moment with me.
That's good. Okay. Moving out of that wonderful, peaceful moment. Matt, what is a woman? And can they become a walrus? Also, shout out to Brett Cooper because we have the same name. Love that. Amazing. All right, there you go.
A woman is an adult human female. That's what a woman is. Mm-hmm. That's the whole answer for what is a woman. That is very difficult for lots of people. But now, because sometimes when we talk about this, and even people who are the sane and rational ones, and they know that these things are defined biologically, some people have a problem with that definition because they say, well, a woman isn't merely that. And true, a woman's not merely that, but that is like the fundamental definition of what a woman is. And then each woman individually, of course, has their own identity and personality and everything, but that is the fundamental definition of woman.
Simple and straight to the point. Where did you buy your cardigan? That's what somebody wants to know.
Obviously from the clearance bin at Goodwill. As you can tell.
Like any humble children's book author would say.
I'm a man of the people.
Why did Johnny want to be a walrus and not a panda? I know you just went on your panda rant a minute ago, but it's important.
I mean, look, walruses are impressive animals at the end of the day, and they can fend for themselves. They don't need us to sort of like keep them around. And they're also, that walruses have been able to fend for themselves and hold their own in the world because they're such hideous animals that like we would never, as human beings, like we're not trying to keep them. For pandas, on the other hand, the only reason they still exist is just that we think they're cute, and so we keep them around. Walruses, these hideous beasts, have had to make their own path in life, and I really respect that.
It's true. I had never thought about it that way.
Neither had I until this exact moment.
There? Wow. Improvisation. Right out of that. Where would you put your Sweet Baby Gang tattoo?
If I were to get one, right across the forehead. And that's what I would recommend.
That's good.
Someone
just
get
like
it right across the forehead.
That's good. You should do that.
Just when your whole life is destroyed after you do that, don't blame me.
Let's see. Will you cancel Brett for making her own cult, the Cooper Troopers?
You try to make your own cult.
I haven't made a cult. But on my most recent All Access Live, people were saying we're going to be the Cooper Troopers.
Look, I knew this day would come that someone else at the Daily Wire tries to start a cult. I knew it was going to happen. And if that's what it comes down to, then fine. We're going to go to war.
We could do a crossover.
No, there's no crossover.
Cults
Cults don't do crossovers. Cults are quite famously very insular sorts of things. You don't have collaborations.
What if we had our cults next to each other and they were like tunnels?
No, it's going to be like it's gang warfare at that point. But it's fine. I welcome the challenge.
I'm very competitive. So
you got some time. You have some. You got to make up some time.
Exactly. I don't even have a Facebook group yet. I need to work on that. You're already leagues ahead of me. Let's see. Should I buy the book for my nieces and nephews, even though their liberal parents will go bonkers?
Even though?
It's the more reason to.
That's the whole reason to buy it, right? No, it's should I buy the book, especially because the liberal parents will go bonkers. Yeah, absolutely. Buy 10 of them.
Leave them like little eggs around their house to find.
Yeah, exactly. Hide them in different places. That's something people are doing, by the way. Speaking of buying whole boxes of them, is that there are some people that are buying them, donating them to libraries. A lot of, especially in liberal communities, they have those, not just liberal communities, but it's even better in the liberal ones where they've got those boxes on the street, like the take a book, leave a book kind of community library things. And people are buying the books, putting them in those. So
that's a great idea.
Those are, yeah.
I like that. So other than triggering libs, what are your hobbies?
Well, fishing is currently my number one hobby. I was into beekeeping, which is why for a long time my title was Theocratic Fascist and Beekeeper. I'm getting back into the beekeeping thing, and now my next hobby that I want to start, for reasons that I can't really explain, and my wife keeps asking me to explain it, but I can't, is I want to get a big, expensive aquarium with lots of expensive fish. I don't know why, but
just feeling called to it.
I do feel called to it. So.
That was a good question. That was interesting. I learned something about you. Would you ever do reptiles? Like
too much. That's one of the reasons why I like the fish idea. Is reptiles require too much upkeep, I think. So I want to have an animal that can just sort of be there when I want it to be there.
Okay.
So it's really all about me.
Got it. Well,
not an animal that requires constant maintenance.
Okay, love it. Another member is asking, what is your favorite whiskey and/or tequila?
Favorite whiskey, probably, I'm going to go for a Blanton's bourbon. Just your everyday sipper. I like a Four Roses single barrel.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah,
alrighty. Let's see. Alrighty. Okay, no problem. Oh, love it. We made it. All right, guys.
What is happening right now? Okay.
We did it. You successfully answered all the questions without melting to death. So, all right, that looks like it will do it for us tonight. Well done, Matt. I'm very proud of you for having to sit here and sign all of those books. That was very complicated for you. It is about that time. All of the books are signed, and I am out of rhymes. Do you like that?
They made you go back to that well again.
I thought it was really good. I didn't have to do as many of those as your little affirmation moments, but I think I did pretty well. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in for our live Johnny the Walrus book signing and Q&A, and thank you to Matt Walsh. If this isn't live anymore, or you are just catching up with this or listening to the podcast, Johnny the Walrus is still available to the end of the week when you buy a Daily Wire all-access membership, so fear not. Check it out at dailywire.com/Johnny before the end of the weekend. Good night to everyone, and special shout out to all of our new members. Your support helps us impact culture by creating new alternatives and helps us keep delivering great content, including books like Johnny the Walrus and new shows like mine, The Comment Section with Brett Cooper. Plus our upcoming DW Kids series, movies, documentaries, podcasts, and so much more to come. So thanks again, and we will see you next time.